Yeah.
What it do, T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's all tea, all shade, Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 1, Episode 7 review. Y'all ready to get into tonight's episode? Let's get it. Let's go. The episode begins with us seeing Ayan and her son at one of her designer friends' studio, and she'll be walking in his show, as well as her son, who is modeling as well. He's been modeling ever since he was a little boy. He's very handsome, so I saw why they got him into modeling. And like she said, this is not something that we force him to do. It's something that he wants to do. So when the son sees what she's gonna be wearing, he like, that is real flashy. And so when Ayan comes out in the full dress that's way more covered up, he was like, you look better in the classy stuff. And Ayan gonna tell him something, but I love the horse stuff too. Man, that lady tickled me. I hope she gets a lot of modeling gigs over here in the US during Fashion Week. So while she's in the studio, she sees this white dress that she was like, ooh, I should wear that to Caroline's engagement party because her wedding, little festivities are about to begin, and she's having an all white party. And the dress is fabulous. It's so cute. Everything is so chic. We then go to Caroline and Sergio, who are at the hotel. Their parents are about to meet each other for the first time. They're both really nervous. Caroline then brings up to Sergio, my parents know your dad tried to pay you to leave me. And so he realizes, like, oh my God, like, yeah, this is not going to go good. He's nervous. He wants a drink. Everybody is just sweating bullets. So Caroline's parents arrive first, and they're, chit-chatting, having small talk. And Caroline's mom says, your parents both speak good English, don't they? And Sergio was like, yeah. And I'm like, that's not the way you ask, lady. It's a different way to approach that conversation. Like, oh, before we get to, having a conversation, do they speak English, but not do they speak good English? And the way she said it, like, do they know our language? Like, cause I don't want to be bothered with having to interpret what the hell they... Child, I see where Caroline gets her attitude from her mammy, child. Because her mammy, she even said her mama was rude, child. So I'm like, yeah, that's exactly where she got that shit from. So in Caroline's confessional, she talks about how they grew up differently, her and Sergio. She came from this affluent family with a lot of money, going to boarding school. He grew up in, a very loving, huggy type of family, and she also classifies them as working class, which goes back to what I was saying about the fact that I felt like he was on some gold digging type stuff being with her old ass. And everybody was saying that he came from money, not her type of money. Obviously, it's obvious to me that her father or whatever has a business or whatever enough that they live a nice life, but they couldn't possibly have the type of money that Caroline and her family has. So that goes back to exactly what I was saying, that this dude gives me gold digger vibes. So Sergio's family arrives, and very nice looking people, and they sit down and they start talking and everything. And her dad, Caroline's father, says, I imagine her marrying a 55-year-old man with plenty of money. Once again, pointing out that Sergio ain't got no money like that. I told y'all. And Sergio confirms it when he says, well, we're building an empire together. Okay, girl, if that's what you need to tell yourself. Sergio like dick. I told y'all what Sergio like. I think that he genuinely cares for Caroline and vice versa. I mean, is whatever going on in that household, whether he's gay or not, it ain't right, child. It ain't right. That relationship just does not seem authentic to me. It's just, it just don't coagulate in my system. I don't ever see them having holidays or anything together like that with their families. That whole relationship just gives me fake and fraudulent. We then see Lisa at home with the kids and Miss Goat. She has decided that they're going to keep the goat because the kids would literally lose their shits if they got rid of that goat at this point. She gets a FaceTime call from Brooks. And Brooks proceeds to tell her about the dinner from hell and about how Sarah came at her about her parenting style. And Lisa is stunned and shocked by this. And remember last week I said that there is two things you can never talk to anybody about, and that is they man, they woman, or their children, child. It's just, you just don't never go there, especially if you ain't friends like that. And considering the fact that Sarah barely even knew Caroline at this point, like y'all just co-workers, I did feel like she overstepped her boundaries. So, Lisa even agrees that Sarah does seem too much. Like she's always giving unsolicited advice to people, and you don't even know these ladies like that to be doing all that. And I too, that would get on my nerves, having somebody that is like a know-it-all around me all the time and critiquing everything that everybody else does. Like, girl, what's going on with you? Like, let's talk about you, sis, because nobody's perfect. So, Lisa was like, well, I know that she's like some type of doctor. And Brooks was like, of what? Of what? She was like, I would never take advice from a woman who has an honorary doctorate from a women's empowerment group. Child, not from a women's empowerment group. It ain't even like it came from a university. You know how like Oprah or somebody will get like an honorary doctorate from some university. Not it came from a woman's empowerment group, and she talking about she got a doctorate. Sarah, girl, the lies you tell, that is just as the biggest of a lie as the lie that is your original face. Like, girl, that's when you have drunk the Kool-Aid and believe your own hype. Like, girl, have several. So Lisa's sons are in the background fighting as they're on the phone. And what tickled me was that the oldest son, you could hear him say, I've been in this house longer than you. And then he pushed his little brother down, and the little brother started crying. If that ain't some little kid shit, that tickled me. So then we see Nina at home with her children, and Sarah gives her a phone call, and Nina goes outside on her balcony, and she was like, look, let me ask you this, girl. What happened between you and Brooks at her dinner? I know you went over there for dinner, and she called me and told me what happened, and she was really hurt by it. And Sarah was like, she was more so upset with her friend. I said nothing about her parenting. Like, she gave Nina tidbits of what was said, but not the full scope of what was said. I'm like, girl, you sitting up here lying. You kicked the whole conversation off. And you were critiquing that girl's parents. Don't sit up there and act like you was just sitting there on mute, giving little tidbits of advice here and there, and she was really getting into it with her friend. No, girl, like, now you supposed to be a therapist, a doctor, and you ain't even keeping it 100% real. Now, I said 2 weeks ago that Sarah needs to step it the fuck up because she ain't had no storyline. Now you got a storyline, and it's based off you lying, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all, Bernie. Like, I was digging Sarah at first. Now I'm starting to look at her sideways, like she one of them people that got a big mouth, but then when she gets called out on it, she wants to backtrack. Not really feeling it. It's the day of the engagement party. Caroline is in a funky mood as always. She's getting her hair and makeup done. And she tells us that the only reason why they're having an engagement party is because Bridezilla, aka Sergio, wanted to have the whole shebang. So they're having this huge engagement party plus the wedding. I'm like, why wouldn't y'all have the engagement party like months ago? Like, that makes no sense. But okay, girl, whatever. That's just another way for Sergio to spend your money. But all right. So Sergio in there getting on her nerves as always. She talking to him like a dog, and she then gets a text message from Sarah, and I believe that Sarah included all the other girls as well, or it just might have been Brooks that was added on to the text. But I didn't even understand why she included everybody in on the text. Like, that was weird, but okay. You could have just confronted Brooks on your own, but all right. But that goes back to what I just said, that she's the type of person that want to push it out there, but then want to run. Like, you could at least like met up with her one-on-one in person and confronted her. Like, who sends a text? That's pussy behavior. But okay, girl. So anywho, so as she's going to open up the text message and read it, Sergio walks in behind her to look at the text himself, just like the little woman he is, child. And Caroline was like, you don't have to stand behind me, love. You can just stand over there. Just stand over there, please. Please, just stand over there. And he's standing there looking like the wounded dog he always looked like, child. Just polar thing. Why would you even want to marry somebody that damn weak? Lord. So apparently Sarah accuses Brooks of lying on her, going and telling everybody that she was talking about her parenting, and that she basically made it seem like in the text message that Brooks was opening up to them about how she was raised and how she wanted to break the cycle and didn't want to be like her parents. I'm like, Sarah, bitch, were you high off meth that night? Like, what is going on? Like, she has completely flipped that whole entire night. First, she told Nina that her anger was more towards her friend and not her. Like, she basically had nothing to say. Then she sends this text message where she's making it seem like Brooks was the one that started the conversation off and was on some woe is me type shit about how she was raised, and she was just giving her advice. Sarah, bitch, are you crazy? Like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on? Like, now I feel like you're diabolical. I feel like you're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Is it because you have had many faces? Are you a many face man from Game of Thrones? What is going on, darling? So Caroline is like, oh Lord, this is not going to end well. You can't talk to nobody about how they parent their child. This is going to be a shit show. So Caroline then starts to get dressed, and this diamond company comes with a $700,000 diamond choker for her to wear. The choker was fabulous, don't get me wrong. I just felt like the choker didn't go with the dress that she had on. The dress that she had, I don't know where she got that dress from, child. It looked like she had somebody make it for her. It was giving me very much Windsor. If you're from the States and you were or are in high school and you're looking for a prom dress, you go to Windsor. Like, it was giving me very much Windsor, JCPenney's, Macy's. It just looked cheap as hell. It was like a tutu style dress, and then she had on some cowboy boots because I guess it was supposed to give like the Coachella vibe because they were going to be in the desert. It just was not giving what she wanted to give. Like I said, Caroline to me comes across like she is trying to relive her 20s. Like, that outfit was giving me very much Jessica Simpson. When she was with Nick Lachey. Like, what is going on here, baby? Everybody crazy. On the way to the engagement party, we see Nina and her husband in the back of the Rolls. And you could tell like the producers wanted her to talk about her father being in the hospital. And, you know, the conversation comes up and she's just telling her husband that, you know, she wants her dad to come home. And, you know, she just doesn't feel good about it because she's all the way in Dubai. He's all the way over here in the States. And she just feels like when she's there, things, you know, can run a bit more smoothly. Like, she can help. But, you know, being so far away, there's only but so much that she can do. And so her husband is just telling her, you know, everything is going to be all right. But at the same token, she brings up the fact in her confessional that her husband had just had COVID a few months prior. And he lost feelings in his legs. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks and he had to learn how to walk again. So it's very scary, you know, especially for her father, who's much older even than her husband. And you know, with older people, you know, how that whole situation goes with COVID. So I understood, you know, her being upset and everything and just feeling emotional about it. I really felt bad for her, and I pray that her father is doing better now. So the ladies start to arrive to the event, and Ayan has on this platinum blonde wig, honey, and the outfit from the designer studio. It's a long white cape with a cute little like romper set underneath and some boots. Very cute, very chic, very in theme of the party. It's a white ensemble. She looks fantastic. It was giving me Daenerys from Game of Thrones vibes as soon as I saw her, and she admitted that she was going for like a Khaleesi type vibe, and I was like, baby, you hit it on the nail. She looked absolutely stunning. Like, I need for her to be a part of the spin-off series that'll be coming on House of Dragons on HBO Max next month on my birthday. Yes, ma'am. Like, please make a part for Ayan. Make her a Targaryen, honey, because she fits the bill perfectly. She came snatched and ready. So Caroline and Sergio arrive, and once again, Caroline in this dress, it just gives me Disney Plus. This dress just look like something you'll see in a Disney movie. It was just so, it just looked cheap. I'm sorry, looked cheap. Anywho, so they're pulling up, and she was like, "Is somebody got on a wedding dress?" And Serge was like, "Who?" And she was like, "Chanel." And he was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And I'm like, "Are you, girl, stop. You told everybody to come in white, ma'am. You cannot be mad if somebody come in white and upstages your ass. You should have told everybody else to come in red or blue or black or some shit, and you be the only one in white, you dumb. Or how about you make everybody come in white and you come in gold or pink or something else? But you cannot get mad if somebody come to your event and slay it better than you did. And I'm sorry, she slayed it better. And it was not a bridal gown. She had on a cape with a goddamn, basically a swimsuit underneath. Have Sarah Caroline. She just mad because somebody looked better than her old ass. As they pull up to the event, Caroline is sticking to the fact that Ayan has on a full wedding dress and a veil. I don't know where the veil came from. I don't know if she don't know how to separate fabric from hair, but there was no veil on this woman's head. So Caroline approaches the girls, and she was like, "What, are you trying to be me? Are you trying to be me?" And Ayan was like, "Girl, no, I'm black, you're white. There's nothing to try to be like, no." So Caroline says, "Possibly the rudest guest ever." She's walking off because she is pissed, honey, that Ayan looks better than her. And then as she and Sergio are taking couples photos, they show on the screen that the dress that she was wearing was a $12,000 dress. Girl, you need to get your money back because you got gypped. Boy, that shit was pieced together. That looked like some shit that you would see on Project Runway, the kids edition. Girl, you got played. You would have been better off going to a store and getting a dress off the rack, because that was just not the one nor the two. And like, that goes to show that you spent $12K with that tasteless dress on, and you mad because Ayan came in some couture and looked fabulous, and wasn't nothing about that dress bridal. First of all, she didn't even have on a dress. She had on basically a bodysuit underneath. Literally a bodysuit with no pants, no nothing. Like, nothing about that was bridal. I ain't never seen nobody get married in a lace bodysuit, but okay, girl. So Brooks arrives with her two BFFs, the one that she cussed out, child. And she lets her friends know that she's not happy with Nina right about now, because she feels like Nina went back and told Sarah misinformation, and it wasn't what she told her when they spoke. So Brooke finds Nina and confronts her and basically blames her for what Sarah said to all of them in the text message. And Nina is flabbergasted because she like, "I'm trying to help you and you blaming me, like, the fuck?" And like, you can tell like Nina just did not have the time nor the energy to even argue back and forth with her with everything that she's got going on at home. And so then we switch over to Sarah talking to Lisa and Ayan, and they ask her about what happened that night, and she basically says it like Brooks was the one that kicked the conversation off, and she was just giving advice. Lies. But okay, girl, like, she has fully changed the narrative. What I feel like Sarah did when Nina and her talked, and Nina told her that Brooks was upset with her for how she came at her about her parenting. If you go back and look at when they hung up the phone, Sarah had this look on her face like, "Oh my God, this is about to be a thing. She was shocked and she was trying to figure out what the fuck am I gonna do. So I feel like Sarah came up with a genius idea that she's gonna turn everything around and make it seem like she was the innocent party. She was just, giving advice when needed, that Brooks was the one that started the whole thing off, and that she didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. And to try to keep the blood off of her hands. And it's like, girl, did you not realize you was being filmed? Like, what is going on here? Like, we have the video footage that you was the one that kicked the conversation off. You kicked the conversation off when Brooks didn't go upstairs to put her son to sleep. You was like, girl, you need to go put him to sleep. That's how the whole thing started. So the fact that she's getting on there lying is like weird to me. Like, what is you on, lady? So we go back to Brooks and Nina, and Brooks says to Nina, I did not ask for her fucking opinion. And she's loud, like people starting to look or whatever. And Nina was like, calm down, You're doing too much, girl. Mind you, Brooks is lit at this point. I think she probably had a few drinks before she made her way over to Nina. So Brooks was like, she's defending herself based off what you said. And Nina was like, I'm going through a lot right now. Like, I just cannot do this right now. I just don't have the mental capacity. And Brooks had the nerve to say, I know you are, but so what? I trusted you. Wow. That was low. That was rude. That was fucked up. You just literally said out your mouth, what this woman is going through, but you don't give a fuck because your feelings are far more important and valuable. That's fucked up. But that's the type of woman that Brooks comes off like. She's very selfish, self-centered. It's all about her. Fuck what everybody else going through. She just seems like a very vile, nasty person. I don't understand how Lisa and Ayan continue to be friends with her, but y'all more frenemies than anything. It's the weirdest shit ever in life. So of course Nina is through with the conversation at this point. She's disgusted and she don't even want to talk to this hoe. Later on that night, we see Nina join the girls and they ask her like, what's going on? But she does not want to discuss it because she doesn't want to cry. And they keep on asking her. So she was just like, Brooks was getting loud and, I just can't do this right now. It's just too much going on, too much. So then Brooks comes over all happily, go luckily, like she is lit, honey. She done had a few more drinks and she come over like nothing happened. Like nothing has happened. Like she ain't got no beef with Sarah. Sarah and her speak. Sarah gets up and gives her this long ass hug where she wouldn't let her go and was like, yeah, we'll talk later. Like you just cussed this lady out early in the day and accused her of being a liar. But then when you see her face to face, you giving her a long ass hug like you Oprah Winfrey or some shit. Like what the fuck? Girl, these heifers is crazy, but I'm loving it now. Like it feels like the season has finally picked up. So Sarah asks Brooks to go talk. They go talk. Brooks says to her, you told me I should be more affectionate with my son. And Sarah was like, no, I didn't. They showed a flashback to the scene. She didn't say affectionate. She said you need to be closer to your son. Whatever. Tomato, bitch. Same thing pretty much. So Sarah was like, Brooke says, that's my culture. I have no issue with my culture. That's why I'm repeating it, darling. So Sarah was like, what does culture have to do with the way you raise your kid? You supposed to be so smart, but you don't understand what culture has to do with raising how you raise your kid? Make it make sense, Sarah. Make it make sense. Culture has to do with traditions, with the way that you were raised, with your heritage, with your ethnicity. Every ethnicity has different ways that they do things. Like that's the culture. Like what about that don't you understand? So they going back and forth. Brooks is getting louder and more irate, and Sarah was like, look, lower your voice. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least she ain't pussy. So Sarah was like, I dare you to do something. I bet you can't do it. And she was like, drop this Caroline and show the real Caroline Brooks. And Brooks was like, are you threatening me? She's drunk as hell. And so Sarah was like, what? And she was like, no, how about I dare you to drop yours and bring the real you out? Because we haven't seen her yet. Now, mind you, when she's saying this, she's flicking Sarah's hair and like taking her hands and like profiling it down her body like, bitch, we want to know the real you, because this ain't even you. Like what I was saying, making jokes about her having two faces. We saw early in this season how Sarah used to look versus how Sarah looks now. She's had a lot of plastic surgery done on herself to look the way that she does now. So I felt like that's what Brooks was hinting at. Like, girl, this ain't even a real you. Like, let's find out who you are, because what was it about you that you felt like you had to turn yourself into a whole new woman? Like, what the fuck is going on? So the producer's like, hey, I guess because they was getting too loud or whatever, and this is somebody's engagement party. So Sarah was like, what the fuck is this? And Brooke was like, what the fuck is this? So when Sarah said, what the fuck is this? I took that as her looking at the producers like, you wanted us to come over here and have this conversation, and this girl is acting belligerent and irate and like calling me out. Like, what the fuck? It wasn't supposed to go down like this. Child, this is a mess. But like I said, I feel like the season is finally picking up. We're finally getting some real true drama and tea. The girls are bringing their claws out, and I am loving it. Yeah, Sarah right about now, not feeling her at all. When she stepped up, she stepped wrong, and I ain't liking it. She's coming across very much as a liar and two-faced. Brooks is just a villain. Like, she's just a horrible person. There's nothing likable about her so far. Like, she has some funny reads, but other than that, like, just not feeling her at all. Overall, I give tonight's episode an A+. It was highly entertaining. Let me know what you all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. You know, I read everything. I talk back to you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you